Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to be part of this Zoom party. And I appreciate getting to know more about another organization. Thank you, Michaela, and happy to share a little bit about ASP. I'm gonna see if I can successfully share my screen and go through some PowerPoint slides. Can you all see that? Great. Okay. Well, as Mark said, my name's Jen Rickert, and I work in the volunteer department at ASP. Our goal as a department is to help provide you with a world-class volunteer experience. And although the work that we do is focused on construction, we're actually a relationship ministry with construction on the side. So in 1969, Reverend Glenn Tex Evans, a United Methodist minister, became one of the first people to connect the energy of youth with the deep needs of the poor. And some of his words still serve as our guiding principles for why we do what we do. We believe that each person is a child of God imbued with dignity and worth. We accept people right where they are and just the way they are. We believe that all people should be able to live in affordable, safe, and sanitary housing. We are committed to witness through the good quality of our work and careful stewardship of our resources. We believe God calls people to serve others as volunteer partners in ministry, and we will encourage their growth and faith as they answer this call. Where ASP is involved in local communities, we will encourage, affirm, and support the fair and just treatment of people. We believe in ministering in the spirit of love, acceptance, and hopefulness. This is what we really strive for. Everyone is welcome to serve with ASP as we encourage building relationships within groups, with our staff, with homeowners and families, and in the communities where we serve. ASP offers several types of service opportunities as we fulfill our mission and work toward our vision. We make homes warmer, safer, and drier through home repair, engaging youth and adult volunteers throughout the year. We have a new build program for skilled adult volunteer groups scheduled on a flexible as-needed basis. Currently, we are building new homes in East Tennessee, both in the Tri-Cities area and Hancock County, as well as in Charleston, West Virginia. At this time, we don't have any active disaster recovery projects taking place, and previous disaster recovery opportunities included flood recovery in Greenbrier County, West Virginia, and wildfire recovery in Sevier County. Most recently, we've been involved in assessing the situation and providing support after some recent flooding in Eastern Kentucky. So we're still trying to figure out where we're going to fit in and what we have the capacity to do there. ASP has a presence in a broad area we describe as Central Appalachia. As you can see on this map, our headquarters is located in Johnson City, Tennessee, where we have a Tri-Cities repair program, serves the whole northeastern Tennessee area, and we have a year-round permanent facility in Jonesville, Virginia. During the summer, we expand out to multiple counties in this 5-state region. Ordinarily, we serve 20 to 25 counties each summer. This year, we'll be serving in 16 counties. Summer trips take place June through August, usually, like I said, in 20 to 25 counties. And groups arrive on Sunday, work Monday through Friday, and depart on Saturday mornings. Typically, the home away from home is a school, community center, or a church, a facility that we lease that has appropriate sleeping, gathering, kitchen, and dining areas. Under COVID conditions, we're limiting our capacities to 40 to 50 volunteers in each center, where ordinarily we could have as many as 100 volunteers each week. And then our year-round trips have a little bit more flexible scheduling, September through May, when groups can arrive either on Sunday for 2 to 5 work days or on Thursday for 2 work days. And the areas where we work for those trips is Southwest Virginia, or in Northeast Tennessee. And this is why we serve, because of the impact that we know we can have. Volunteers are transformed by serving with each other and for others. Families are transformed by homes that are warmer, safer, and drier. And ASB often serves underrepresented populations and inspires hope through what we're able to accomplish. Communities are transformed by our commitment to eradicating substandard housing. When we serve in a county, we have documented an economic impact through the repairs that we accomplish and an increase of business when ASB volunteers are present. Although volunteers serve seasonally or short-term, our county setup team is actively connected all year long, maintaining relationships with families, faith communities, other organizations, service providers, and school systems. We are deeply invested in the good of Central Appalachia. Finding the right trip is easy. You select the ages included in your group, decide your preferred timing throughout the year, and review the available opportunities. For traditional ASB volunteers trips, volunteers must be at least 13 and have completed 8th grade. And then junior high and middle school volunteers must be at least 11 and have completed 6th and 9th grade. Families, community groups, churches, youth groups, colleges, and all adult groups are all welcome to participate in any of our programs. We even have a process for individuals or small groups, fewer than 4, to participate with other already registered groups open to additional participants. And if you're interested, I can share more information about that. Our staff is committed to providing you with everything you need to have a great ASB experience. From the beginning of your research process with helpful resources through registration and trip preparation. You have a dedicated team of ASB staff, ambassadors, mentors, and trip planning colleagues to support you through the entire process. And as Michaela said, we definitely have been affected by COVID as well. We actually suspended all volunteer hosting for the summer of 2020. We did get back to safely hosting volunteers last fall. We've had a good spring, and we are now transitioning to welcome summer volunteers. So currently we have just over 200 groups registered with about 4,600 volunteers who are planning to come and serve this summer. And we have something called 3 S's. The first one is safety. So under COVID conditions, that elevates safety to being the #1 priority. Once you've made the decision to plan for an ASB trip, there are a lot of resources available on our website, and most of them are on the Trip Coordinator resources page. Registrations are completed online. You can see our schedule and all the opportunities that are available through that portal. We have resources available to help recruit, budget, and fundraise for a trip. The mission fee includes lodging, food, staff programming, and project management, as well as all of the construction supplies and materials for the repair project. Not included in the mission fees are some other essential pieces of your trip, like transportation, whether that's renting vehicles or just providing gas, having some extra drinks or snacks available, and probably most importantly is having additional funds to go out for ice cream at the end of the workday. Doing some team building and training at home in preparation for a trip is definitely a proven way of maximizing the impact for members of your group. And I mentioned the first of our 3 S's, safety. In addition to COVID protocols and guidelines, we also follow safe sanctuary practices. So we do require background checks. And there are a few other things that go along with that. And then the other 2 of the 3 S's are sensitivity and stewardship. Sensitivity includes things like protecting the privacy of the families we serve. We use code names for the project. So when groups are out in the community, instead of saying, oh, we're at Mary and Bob's house, you know, there could be a theme for the code name. So it could be, let's say one of our years was Crayola colors in a crayon box. So it could be the yellow crew or something like that. And then sensitivity also includes teaching volunteers to say things like remove and replace, rather than we're going to tear out and fix this up. It's really helpful to remember that we're actually guests in someone's home when we're there. And then the stewardship piece is essential. especially at the center. It's community living with meals, showers, and chores. And on the work site with materials and supplies, you may be familiar with the adage, measure twice, cut once. That's something that you hear a lot on an ASP work site. We're excited for our theme this year, which is Onward, based on Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. And we develop a theme every year based on a scripture verse. So we put together pre-trip materials for groups to begin living into that connection between the faith-based theme and hands-on service experience. And our staff is trained to help develop and deepen that connection with evening gatherings and something we call a field guide for work crew and personal reflection throughout the week. Whoops, jumping ahead here. What we do is we sign summer-long leases with schools, churches, and community centers in the majority of the counties where we serve. So classrooms and gymnasium floors are common sleeping areas, which means an air mattress or a cot, sleeping bags and pillows are definitely things to pack and bring with you. And then we have access to additional areas of the building for meals, gatherings. We set up a supply room and staff quarters with a staff office. So you can see in this example, an overhead of a school building where there's actually some areas of the building that are off limits, and the staff set all of that up. So volunteers are familiar with it when they arrive. And then life at the center is facilitated by our staff, who are enthusiastic, passionate young adults. They're trained and available to support groups through the entire experience. They get paired together as a field team of 4 to 5 and assigned to one summer center location with specific roles and responsibilities each, and then they all do project planning as well. Ultimately, the staff are responsible for organizing and facilitating life together at the center, while you and your adult group leaders are responsible for managing and leading the youth throughout the experience. So that field staff will stay, eat, and serve with you, and they have a strong network of support from a program manager, construction consultant, chaplain, and our headquarters staff. Typical experience would be arriving on a Sunday for a week-long experience, or on a Thursday during the year-round program. And that day would include an orientation and a review of rules and expectations, and a visit to the project for 1 or 2 of your work crew members before getting started the next morning. And then groups are encouraged to do something creative to introduce themselves. So there'll be some large group evening gathering time. You can make up a song or a short skit, plan a dance, or recite a limerick just to introduce yourselves and have some fun. And then each of the work days, whether it's Monday through Friday or whether you come on Thursday and just work on Friday and Saturday, follow roughly the same schedule. So wake up is at 7, morning devotions at 7:15, breakfast around 7:30. And then there's packing up and checking out to head to the work site between 8 and 9. Generally being on the work site roughly 9 to 4 each day, and you'll have a brown bag lunch. So we suggest taking extra and inviting the family to have lunch with you, and then cleaning up at the work site and heading back to the center around 4 o'clock or after. Dinner's at 6, and then evening gathering is around 7:30. Quiet time is at 10:30, and lights out is at 11. We use a standard menu similar to this across all of our centers. So we do provide a hot breakfast and dinner from Sunday dinner through Friday dinner, and then brown bag lunches. This year, our kitchen staff will be preparing the brown bag lunches, where ordinarily we have volunteers doing it. So you'll see that that's one of the adaptations we've had to make under COVID conditions. And the kitchen staff, our cooks, are typically community members in the county where we're serving. Sometimes they're school cafeteria staff who would not otherwise be working in the summer. So it's another economic advantage when a community invites ASP to be there with them. We do offer a vegetarian option at every meal. And then if anyone has other dietary restrictions, we typically recommend bringing additional food. And specifics can be worked out before you arrive. Like I said, our staff are trained and will facilitate evening gatherings throughout the week. And it could be that they expand on the annual theme and continue to make that connection between hands-on experience and a faith-based perspective. Could be large group activities, small group discussions, a prayer walk, or even a presentation. And Tuesday night evening gathering is what we call culture night. And that's when we invite someone from the community to come in. Often it's a local band or a storyteller, a historian, or person of interest who can come and share about their area and the culture of Central Appalachia. And then Friday night, EG is an ASB tradition that we call Share Circle, and everyone's invited to participate as much as they're comfortable, and just go around the circle literally and share a God moment or a meaningful insight from the week, something that maybe made an impression or changed someone's perspective, which serves then as the final reflection for the week altogether. And then again, in line with the second and third of our 3 S's, sensitivity and stewardship, all volunteers, youth and adults, work together to create a positive community experience at the center. So part of that is supporting the staff and caring for the facility through daily chores. And we want to definitely maintain a positive relationship within the communities where we serve. And we can't do that alone. So we need volunteers to help us with that. Certainly, we have learned that hosting volunteers in these leased buildings can be really hard on them. And we try really hard to leave things better than when we arrived. So you'll see, I don't know how well you can see it on the chore chart, that every work crew is assigned a chore each day. And then we do have some required reading, which includes a safety manual. Safety, again, is our #1 concern. So adult group leaders are responsible for the safety of the youth that are with them and enforcing the rules. It's promoted by our staff, but your group leaders, your adults know your youth better than anyone. And so our staff really relies on your adults to cover that piece of things. And then we also want your adults to empower the youth as much as possible to accomplish the repair projects themselves. So it could be, just even learning to use a new tool that they've never used before. And our staff loves it when they arrive on site to check in and see everyone engaged in the work. So that's really valuable. However, it's also really valuable, and we encourage groups to be intentional and take time to meet with the family. So I've had trips where there were grandparents who were caregivers for young children, and we actually were able to give those grandparents a break while we were there. And we literally assigned 1 or 2 of our work crew to play with the kids while the rest of us were working on the project, and then we rotated in and out. So it's a really valuable thing to keep that relationship piece in mind. And then we do have some power tool restrictions for some of the younger students. For instance, we don't have them using any open blade power tools or working on a ladder. So on the work site, our staff does all of the project planning. They provide all of the supplies and materials. However, they are not on site with a work crew all day, every day. So we do rely on the adults, the group leaders, to facilitate the work of accomplishing the project. We have great resources with a construction manual and a very broad YouTube channel of videos for that piece of things. And those are all available before your trip and on your trip as well. The thing to remember is it's easy to feel like the project is a construction site. And we want to remember that it's a family's home. So we want volunteers to clean up at the end of each day and leave things safe for the family overnight. That's an important piece of the experience. And like I mentioned, the relationship aspect is vital to who we are and what we do as an organization. So we want you to have the opportunity to develop and deepen relationships with others from your group, with others from groups who may be staying at the center with you, with our staff, and especially with the families that are being served. So this presents a little bit more of a challenge under COVID conditions because we are prioritizing exterior projects, and we are still trying to have picnic lunches together. So there's some mask wearing and social distancing, those kinds of things are in place to keep everybody safe. And we've had volunteers and groups who have maintained a connection for years, celebrating life milestones together and even returning for visits in the future. It's pretty amazing, really, some of the connections that develop. So I'm gonna just stop and open things up for questions, and we'll go from there. I know that we've covered a lot. My contact information is here. You're welcome to be in touch with me directly. I'm happy to follow up with you. And certainly Susan and Mark can share my contact information afterward as well.